morning. Trust everyone is well, and I'll hand over to Tim.
Thanks, Pete. Good morning, everyone. As Pete mentioned, I've sort of recently joined Golf Genius APAC. I started with my Golf Genius experience as a customer, much like you guys. Used it to run my events business in Hong Kong. And last year went through the certification course and got asked if I wanted to join the Golf Genius team. So started on the support desk and now working with Pete here in the Asia Pac region. I'm normally based in Hong Kong, currently up here on the Sunshine Coast. I'm very grateful to be here. But heading back to Hong Kong in a couple of weeks. So the session next week has been postponed because I'll be on my way back to Hong Kong. So the idea, there will be a session every week, one time to the Australian market, and then the following week time more to our Asian and subcontinent clients. So hopefully you can join one or other of the sessions, and we will try to record them and either share a link with you or post it on the league website. As Pete mentioned, please do feel free to submit any questions as we go through the session. We'll try and come back to them at the end. The idea of these is to keep them brief. We know you're all very busy. You've got other things to be doing, so we don't want to go into too in depth. My role here in the long term is to make sure you guys get as much help and training with the system as you need. So please feel free to reach out to me and we can set up some one-on-one training anytime on Zoom that suits you. So these are more just sort of informative. Hopefully, I'm sure you all know what we're talking about, but just in case, this is just reminders and things like that. Okay. So today we're just going to stay in the customer center. I just want to talk about your directories, your categories, and how you're setting up your backend. Getting a clean filing system essentially will help you guys run your events more, categorize them. It will definitely benefit you guys in the long run. Obviously, most accounts have more than one person working in them, so making sure you split them up and people know where to find the events is key. But before we start, I just want two buttons that I think you guys all should know are there and there for you. First is the help button on the right-hand side. We have a fantastic 24/7 support desk that is there for you guys at any time. If you can't get hold of Peter or I, just click that button, contact us, use the tournament management software, and then tell the team what your urgency is. I mean, obviously it's an event live and in progress, critical, and let them know. If it's something that's coming up, obviously more of a medium or low frequency answer. Then of course, the other option is our navigator button. The navigator, if you're not already using it, is a fantastic tool to help you. If you're having struggles, if you're in the dashboard of an event, you're not sure where you need to go next, the navigator is a great option. Just punch in what you're trying to do. I'm trying to edit the tee times, and this button will take you straight to it. And if you star it, if you find yourself always asking the same questions, if you star it, these buttons will come up every time you go to the navigator. Okay, so you just click go, and that will take you straight to the edit pairings. And your bookmarks, when you create that, will be unique to you as a customer manager. So when you come in, you'll see the questions. And if your colleague comes in, they'll have a different navigator selection. So those are two great buttons. I encourage you to use them whenever you need any help. But starting here in the customer center, as we said, this is essentially your filing system. This is where you keep all your events, where you create them, add them, edit them, find them. And what you need to do is, what we always encourage you to do is split them up into categories so you know where to find them. The default, and everyone has this, is the events, leagues, and trips button. That every event by definition goes into that. But obviously you've got different events, corporate days, monthly medals, test categories, whatever you need to make it understandable for you. And it's very straightforward. Adding new categories, it's just under the events, leagues, and trips button. You can add a new category. And viewing, when you're trying to find events, there are different views. Obviously, you can search in the top. Obviously, don't have a monthly medal, but there we go. So I'm looking for our training league, and it's right there. The other options are you can view events. This is the category view. And then if you want to view all the events in a single line, they're all there. And you can sort them again by different ways, by start dates if you're trying to find the most recent event or the oldest event. Registration center if you're trying to find events that are open or closed. So there's a lot of different ways to view your events here. And what we always also encourage you guys to do is use these to create your own directories and registrations that you can post on your own websites. And so your members or your paying clients can find the events you're looking for. So under the directories of events, leagues, and trips, you can add directories very straightforwardly. Just click it, name it. This is and now we're just trying to find the ladies section category with all our ladies events. That will pull all the ladies events that are in the ladies category, and we can share it. There's an iframe option here that you can plug it into your own website. And like some of our clients here, England Golf have got in their own website here, England Golf comps, all their comps are categorized and found for those that want to enter. Obviously, at end of the season in the UK, there's not a lot of events in here that are open right now, but this is where they put all their events. And this sits in their own website.
So for everyone that's on the call, the main reason that we suggest that you move your events to categories is there is hopefully going to be a multiple stream of use cases within the business. So in a club, you may have your open events, you may have your member events, you may have some breakup events. You know, we know a lot of clubs sort of use us for those more novelty events due to the depth of the tournaments we can create. You know, the ladies breakup or the men's Christmas event, that sort of thing. We move into, we know we've got quite a few of the association people on the call this morning. You know, that would be, you know, for our Golf New South Wales people, you guys do a great job of it, but, you know, maybe breaking it down a little bit more for some of the people I can see on here. You know, we've got, say, Golf New South Wales will have Jack Newton, they'll have Vardens, they'll have Gene Darren, then they'll have Pennants, and you know, so the list goes on. For the club guys, you know, you might have match play tournaments, you might have club championships, you have your corporate days, you'll have your charity days. So try and really think, it doesn't matter how many categories you have, but the more categories you break it out to, the better you'll be able to share those directories. And Tim, if you just go back to the directories and registrations, you can have multiple categories pulling into one directory. So if you wanted to show men's and ladies club competitions, you could tick 2 boxes. The key with that is when you create the event and automatically drop it in there, it'll populate to your website. So you don't have to be constantly putting things, you create the event, put it in its correct category, and move that, you know, that'll move straight through to the website so that your members can see it. And that's the other point there that we always advise customers to have a tests and templates category. You might have something that's not quite ready. Don't make it live until it's ready, and then you put it in that category, and then you're on the website and, you know, allowing people to enter and do as you wish. So that's a key for us, is making sure that, you know, you can allow your members to get into the event when they're ready. Are there any? I haven't seen any questions.
I haven't seen any questions. Please do feel free to put any questions you have relating to this subject right now that we can, while we're looking at stuff, we can answer for you. And if there's anything more general, we will sort of aim to wrap up in the next, you know, 3 to 5 minutes on this subject. We'll always try to keep these to within 15 minutes, but we'll keep the room open for another 10 to 15 minutes afterwards. That if anyone has any specific questions that we can look at, then we can do that.
Okay, so Emmanuel from Golf New South Wales just put a question: best to do manual search of events to allocate categories because of multiple years. So just Tim, just touch on the season option there as well. And obviously for everyone that's on the call here, Golf New South Wales, I think you're in your second or third full season with us now. I think there was a little bit, and then this is sort of your second full season, but third season. So when we look at the seasons, Tim, you take that one.
Yeah. So obviously, if you are sort of running more seasonal stuff, you've got a 2020 events that are running within a season point system that you want to categorize, then you definitely can create seasons. So very straightforward to add. You always then set a current season. And obviously we're not using seasons because we're sort of just using general events, but you would mark a season as current and then allocate events to that. So in your directories, in your websites, you could just have that season's events showing.
It might be worth showing too, just go back to the event leagues and trips. So when you're building these categories, so if you go to the event leagues and trips category, where a lot of you probably have the bulk of your events, you can move across to the actions on the right, and you can then transfer that event into a new category quite easily. So select the category and it will ask you, where do you want to put it? It's fairly much an online filing system. So now we've moved that, that will now appear in the Japan category. Once we refresh that category, we've now got both events in there. So it's quite easy to move things around. And again, if you're running, a trip or a league and it doesn't take off, you might move it out of there and move it down, delay it, those sort of things. So you're always going to land on this page, and we feel that this is the best way. If you're organized here, it's going to allow that, searching and finding events. And of course, if you're stuck and you don't remember where you put it, just use the search button and you'll find it fairly quickly. So just make sure if you're searching a category or a season, quite often we get the call, we've lost our events. Well, just make sure that you've got your category and your filters all set to all if you think you've lost your events. It's something that, I think we've all done. I came on board as a customer 7 years ago, and you can't find your events, and then you realize you've got a filter there. So the more you start to use this, the more complex the customer center will look. But if it's filed nicely, you'll find everything fairly quickly. But if you can't find it, give us a call, and we'll figure it out for you. It'll be a setting that you've missed, and away you go.
And the other option to remember with your events is when you have finished them, if you've got a category that is sort of events are running out, are finished, don't feel like you need to delete them. You can use the archive button. That'll put an event in the archive file where you can always find it and bring it back to life if you need it, clone it later on for another event. So, unless you really need to delete event, we always recommend archiving it so that you can find it later, go back and clone it for a future event. And archiving it moves it out of the category that it was in and into a category you can find and use later on. Are there any more questions from anybody regards
While we see if there's any more questions? I think that's a key to archiving those events. Don't delete them. We encourage you to keep every event, unless you've made a total mess up of it and you want to delete it because you know it was totally wrong. But there's a much better use case for being able to keep all your events in the archive category, because as we know, you may have thought it was a one-off event, but if it went well, you may want to do it again. And it's very quick and easy to clone that event. We might just do a quick cloning there, Tim, just before there's no more questions at the moment. Just clone an event.
Sorry, Peter.
Yeah.
Just on that question that I asked, I was referring to the leagues and events when you're selecting them to from a specific category. You know how you can just select them all.
So up here in the category section.
Yeah. So I found that obviously if we're selecting just from those category, it will actually say, for example, pull all the events from a senior order of merit and put it into, say, all of 2021 events.
Yep.
So say we had a directory made up that said 2021 events, and we had it set up as pull leagues and events automatically from, say, senior order of merit and Gene Darren.
Yep.
And it was obviously we're starting next year's, and it was actually allocating them to that category as well.
Right. So okay. So you were putting say 2022's events were falling into that category. So when you're in,
Yeah, because obviously we're pulling the 2021 events. We're pulling them all from the Senior Order of Merit and Jean Darren as well.
yep.
That's why I was thinking selecting leagues and events manually is probably the best way to go on a year-to-year basis.
Yeah, there is a way to create that. And Tim, we might come back to you on that one. I think you can create your directories to show current season only, Manny. So once you
Yeah.
switch that season over to 2022,
you've got to set a season.
We might just do a quick, we'll jump on a quick one there because it'll be set. You guys are run your seasons really well. So we should be able to, in a real life use case, show you exactly how to drop those in. So they're there waiting. You switch your season over and 2021 will disappear and 22 will come up.
Okay.
All right. So we might take that one offline and I'll either Tim or I'll just reach out to you, Manny, and we'll go through those directories just to make sure they're correct for the new season.
Yep, cool.
Henry had a question there. Banners and logos for different schedules. Can you set individual banners instead of default banners? Henry, do you just want to unmute yourself there and try and explain that one a little bit more?
Yeah, so just when you were sharing your league, sharing the league schedule. So like, let's say you've created a bunch of events and you port them and you've created in your directories like a schedule. The problem that I have of like, let's say I've got two different things like that are like two different schedules at two different clubs, but it runs like it only goes to a default banner. So I can't individualize the banners on the schedules. Just when I share when I click the share, like if I'm to share that link, it sends it with the default banners. So I can only have one. I can't put.
So you're sharing from an other portal? Would that
no,
correct?
Yeah, from another portal. Yeah.
So with the portal, you'd have to keep your banner fairly generic if you're doing that. Otherwise, so you're not sharing those directories to your own website just as a directory. You're sharing basically a Golf Genius portal.
A Golf Genius portal. Yep.
Yep. So you would have to, Tim, if you went up to customer settings and had a look at other portals, I'm not sure if we've got one there that we can show quickly. Just do the Golf Genius Island Club at the top. So yeah, you're going to be similar to this where you've got a directory on this page here versus having, you could have two different other portals. So if you had one for one branding, you could share that, and then you could create a new portal and just have that directory on that one with a different banner and different color scheme.
That was the problem that I had, is the banners would only come up as the default banners. There was no option to
just go across to event schedule there, Tim. Hover over that and then go to general portal settings. So if you've got two separate portals, you can now, it'll start with your default and now you can add another banner there in the banner category.
There it is. Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So as long as you've got two separate portals, you can create that. And again, color scheme, background images, whatever you need to do.
Beautiful.
All righty. Tick that one off. Any other questions for this morning, guys? Anyone have, we've obviously got some ideas of what we feel are some of the things that may get missed as people jump in and start doing things, but is there anything that anyone feels they would like us to look at over the next couple of webinars? Feel free to throw it in the chat now and we'll address it and put it on the schedule.
So yes, the next session for for the 9 a.m. session Australian Eastern Time will be in 3 weeks' time. So we will send out an invite and an idea of what we're going to run about a week before that. So we've got a couple of ideas, but we're very happy to be directed by you guys. So please do feel free to send us your thoughts. Let us know what you want to know, and we can run the sessions based on those sort of ideas.
So just feel free as well. Anyone that if this is, you know, if you haven't wanted to jump in with a question, you know, email Tim or I. It's just our first name with a dot between. So peter.shaw@golfgenius.com or tim.orgel@golfgenius.com. Feel free to flick us an email and we'll come back to you offline and just do a quick session for whatever it is your needs are for your events. We know there's a big cross section of advanced users on this call to some very new users. So, you know, there's no right or wrong. And as you know, training is not a one-off deal. Whenever you need it, we're there, we'll help you out. So, guys, if there's no more questions, we might wrap this one up and we'll wait for the recording. Yep. And we'll review the recording. Generally, we will host these privately on YouTube, but we'll stick them back in the portal as a, again, this is another little use case, a custom HTML page. So when we've done that, we will flick you guys a link to go to the portal and you can have a look and review the call.
As I said, I'll keep this room open until all participants are left. So those that have finished today, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. As I said, this is the first of what will be a series. So hopefully the format will settle into a pattern that works for everyone and a time that works for everyone. So if you think we're doing it at the wrong time on a Monday morning, also please do let us know. We are flexible to work around your schedules. So just drop us an email with your thoughts, suggestions, and look forward to seeing you again in a few weeks. And thank you very much for joining us. But I am going to keep the room open for the next 10, 15 minutes. So if anyone wants to hang back and ask some questions, please do. But thank you very much for joining us this morning.